Welcome to the first episode of a Man in a Woman's Field podcast. I am your host, Brogan Burns. Today, March 16th, the women's NCAA basketball tournament is quickly approaching. To talk about that, we're bringing on John Kolar, a journalist out of Morgan City. I'm here with John Kolar today. John is one of the biggest LSU fans I've ever met. He's a sports journalist now. I had the great pleasure of working with him at the Nicholsworth, which is our student-run newspaper at at Nicholls State University. So, welcome, John.
What's up, bro? Glad to be here.
So, let's get into it. First of all, LSU, they did get knocked out of the women's SEC tournament, but they did play Texas, which is a really good team. Just talk about what you think that team can do, LSU in the tournament.
Um, I think they got when you got Kim Mulkey as your head coach, you always have potential of making it deep in the tournament because that's just the type of coach she is. She's a great coach. Just look at what she's done since she's been at LSU. Winning the national championship in her second year. Only her second year there, and you know how the program has turned around tremendously since she's been the coach. So you always got a chance of making it deep in the tournament because of Kim Mulkey. But at the same time, when you like go deep and you look deep into this LSU team, it's not really a deep team that we've seen over the past few years that Kim Mulkey has been there. We still have questions about the point guard spot. She doesn't have a consistent point guard, and it's been that way throughout the whole season. And I also feel like we're missing that dominant post presence that we had over the past couple years with Angel Reese. Of course they got Anissa Morrow, but she's only 6'1". She is one of the top players in the nation, but she can't really, you know, defend the post players the likes of like UCLA with Lauren Betts or South Carolina. We really miss that dominant post presence that we could go to because honestly that's the type of coach Kim Mulkey is. She wants to run her offense through the post. So we're missing that, and we also, like I said, we're missing a consistent point guard. But the things that I like about LSU, that could take them really far is, they got three star players, Anissa Morrow, like I just mentioned, Flau'jae Johnson, and Michaela Williams, all can go and get 20 plus in the same game, and that's what makes them really dangerous. But at the same time, I also feel like they don't have consistent play from their bench as well, and that's something that they're gonna need in going down the stretch in this tournament. So I think I don't want to put it on them that they can win a national championship because I think that's a little, I wouldn't say that's a little far fetched, in my opinion. But they can definitely make it to an elite eight if they play their cards right. You know what I'm saying? And they get good consistent play from their bench play, and their stars show up to play as well.
And I'm talking about Anissa Morrow. I think she broke the school record for most points in an SEC tournament game. Let's talk about her dominance over the course of the season.
It's actually quite crazy because she joined LSU last year, and played alongside Angel Reese, and it was kind of like coming in. Everybody knew she was a double double machine, and it was kind of like how were her and Angel Reese gonna play together, because they both attacked the glass, and they were able to show that they played pretty well together. And then just coming into this season, she just has continued that dominance. A undersized post player, 6'1", and she just attacks the boards with such ferocity, man. It's like it's crazy to see from her. But she's just dominant. Like you can sometimes I've seen teams send two players down there to box her out, and she still gets the rebound. It's kind of incredible. It's like she got magnet on her hands, and she just knows how to get to her spots on the floor. She has great feet work in the post, and she's just a post player, but she's undersized. But when you watch her play, you don't really think that she's undersized just because of how dominant she is.
Before we move on to the next question, what's it gonna take for LSU to make a run and get into the Final Four? Maybe have a chance at a title.
Um, like I mentioned before, they're just gonna have to get consistent play from the stars. Flau'jae, she's been out. She sat out the last game of the season, regular season, and she was out all of the SEC tournament because she's been dealing with some shin issues. But hopefully, she'll be ready to go for the NCAA tournament. And we just need all our players to be at 100%, especially our stars, and play to what they're capable of. It's a reminder, man. At one point, LSU was 27-2, with the only two losses coming against Texas and South Carolina. So I mean, they're a good team. They're probably one of the best teams in the nation. The last couple of weeks haven't really looked like that because Flau'jae's been out. But I think they have what it takes to make it to potentially a Final Four. They just got to get more consistent play from their bench to help out their starters. When they're unable to play or they're in foul trouble. Because really and truly, if you get Anissa Morrow, Michaela Williams, and Flau'jae in foul trouble, then you really have LSU where you want them to be. And I think that they just got to play their game, man, and stick to their plan, and they got a chance.
Have you tried that Angel Reese meal yet?
No, I haven't had it yet. I haven't had it, but I've seen a lot of people, going to McDonald's and picking up the Angel Reese special for sure.
And obviously you talked about LSU not having a point guard, and that
Mhm.
point guard they had not too long ago, Haley Van Lith, is now the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year. Just talk about how she was able to kind of reinvent herself when she left LSU.
I mean, that's just the type of player that Haley Van Lith is. If you watched her at Louisville, you understand how she was a great player at Louisville, and she kind of like led that team to some great seasons as well. I think her coming to LSU kind of took her out of her game a little bit because she was forced to play within the system. It wasn't really everything's not really ran through her. You know what I'm saying? Because she had all those other stars to coexist with her along, with Flau'jae, Michaela Williams, Anissa Morrow, and Angel Reese at the time. So it was kind of not like it wasn't really a good fit for her, because she's a scoring point guard, and she came to LSU to learn how to be, a true point guard, how to distribute the ball. But you could kind of just tell that it didn't really work out for her because she wasn't able to score the ball as much, and she really had a down season. But this year with TCU, she's kind of like gotten back to that Louisville style of playing, like everything's ran through her, so she's able to run the offense, get to her spots, score some buckets, and facilitate off of that.
And who's your favorite for the tournament this year, outside of South Carolina and LSU, obviously?
Mm, I would say that my first choice would probably be South Carolina. But then if I look at it, Texas can't be ignored because how dominant they are in the post. Um, but so Texas, South Carolina maybe, but I also like UConn. I think UConn is a very good sleeper pick. You just got to think about what they did to South Carolina a couple weeks ago, going to South Carolina and basically boat racing them. That's something that you don't see teams do very often. So if I had to pick teams that weren't from the SEC, I would say that UConn would probably be a sleeper pick for me. Also, can't forget UCLA. I haven't really watched much of them this season, but when I do see highlights or something like that, just the dominant post presence of Lauren Betts, man, she's like 6'7" and she's towering over everybody, and that's gonna be hard to stop because not a lot of teams in women's college basketball got 6'7" players. So, yeah, probably either UConn or UCLA if I'm going against the SEC.
Yeah, Lauren Betts is maybe one of the greatest players I've ever seen put on a college uniform. It's just insane watching her play.
Yeah, she's 6'7". It's hard to stop her, bro. Because like I said, not a lot of teams have that type of size on their team.
Absolutely. For the last question, a step away from the women's game, but stay with the woman in basketball. Cooper Flagg's mom, the one predicted number one pick going into the NBA draft, absolutely lost her mind when he
Mhm.
just dunked over that guy on
Yeah.
UNC. Just talk about seeing somebody with so much energy. And I mean, She basically said F you to UNC. How does it feel seeing people, care that passionately about basketball?
Yeah, I feel like you always gonna have, especially coming from a parent's always gonna root for their child. And then, the Duke and UNC rivalry, man, that's one of the oldest rivalries, dating back in college basketball. So just to see them play with that ferocity, man, you know what you're gonna get when that rivalry comes on TV. So yeah, man, I mean, I can't really blame her because if that was my kid, I'd probably be doing the same thing. But yeah, it's just the heated rivalry between UNC and Duke, and Cooper Flag's a great player, so I guess she got some how would I say that? She can do that because how good her son is. Yeah, so uh, yeah, that's all I really got to say on that.
And before we let you go, what are your 4 teams that are going to make the Final Four? I know I kind of asked already, but who's your solid four right now
For the men's,
for the women?
for the women's, I would probably go. Um, I'd probably go South Carolina. I'd probably go UCLA. I would probably go Texas, and I'm gonna go UConn.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on my podcast today,
Yes,
John.
sir. No
Hope to see
problem.
you some
Anytime.
other time.
Yes, sir.
But
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
today on a Man and a Woman's Field podcast, we talked about LSU women's basketball, former LSU women's basketball player Haley Van Lith and her Big 12 MVP, some of the teams we think you should be on the lookout for in the upcoming NCAA women's basketball tournament, and we even talked about Cooper Flag's mom giving a big FU to UNC fans. We thank you for tuning in, and we hope you come back next week when we interview McKenna Cortez, a former Division I NCAA softball player.